Shit. You want to date non-Japanese girls when living in Japan? Be careful of this. Watch this. For real, for real. What's good, Pookies and Ray Ray, man? It's your man, Passport Pookie, and hit that like button for your boy before we even get started, because some of y'all be forgetting. Like my dog, what is it? Antoine Williams, what is it? ACTCWBAC, Mr. Good Content. Hit that like button. You don't be hitting it, and I know you don't. All right? So anyways, yeah, I called you out. So, man, this story right here is how I dated a married black American woman in Japan, dog. Almost lost my career. Almost got into it with her husband. Man, it is crazy. Make sure you vet these women when dating American women overseas. Let's get into it. All right, so at this point, it was like 2016. Matter of fact, let me start from the beginning, the very, very beginning. Rewind. All right, so 2012, let's just say I was learning my job, the job that got me to travel so often, right? I was learning my job, and in this job, they send you to like somewhat of a college. It's like a vocational school or a training camp or whatever. Each person goes to school for their own specific job. And while I was at this school, man, I ran across this bad little chocolate thing. She wasn't really chocolate. She was brown skin or whatever, but brown little milk chocolate thing, bro. I'm talking about gorgeous, bro. And we had one class together. So during the midst of this, let's just say we was basically in college. So we had one class together, and during this class, we didn't really get to talk too much because it was like, it was a professional setting. We was there for business and stuff like that. So when I would see her out in the free time, and this class took place in Chicago. So when I would see her out in the free time, we would flirt, we would talk, we would chop it up a little bit, but we both had our own, she was getting a lot of attention from the guys, I was getting a lot of attention from the women. So we was just never on that type time at the time. At the time, she was dealing with a guy, but yet they wasn't like that. She was out there, he was back home. And same thing for me, vice versa. But we just never got to that point. But I'm telling you, bro, she had a little slim stomach. She had that pound cake in the back, bro. Face was on point, hair past her shoulders, man. She was gorgeous, bro. And we just never got to that point. So this was 2012. So fast forward to 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere in between there, she ends up also getting a job in Japan. So while in Japan, I had to go to her workstation to grab some parts. Now, I didn't know she was there, never seen her before, but just so happened to go over there to pick up some parts, and I run into her. And Lord behold, she's still bad. She still look exactly the same, but just, a little older. I'm like, damn. And, her body got better. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, man, what's been good with you? She was like, hey, we gave each other a hug, and it was, it was a vibe off ripping. I'm like, at this point, I done been working a job 3-4 years now, so I know what I'm doing. I done got comfortable. I'm not so afraid of messing up. And, probably the same for her. So it was like, yo, we should catch up. She was like, let's get, we exchanged numbers. And later on that night, we go out and have drinks, right? So we having drinks. So like, what's been good? What's been going on? How long you been out here? I had just gotten out there, but she had done been out there for about a year or so. So she only had like 6 or something months left, as opposed to me, I had, about a year and some change. And I'm like, oh man, that's what's up, man. So you've been doing good. I'm glad to see you doing good. Blah, 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 blah. We flirt. She giving me that look. That look they give y'all, man, when you know you about to take her to pound, when you about to bust that ass, when she was giving me that look, like that look under the eye look, like, what I'm saying? Like she was mad interested type stuff. So I'm like, all right, man, it's about to go down. So anyways, I say, we starting to wrap things up, and I'm like, so where you heading to tonight? Granted, at this time, I was still staying in like accommodation, I think. I don't think I had my own crib at this time. Later on in the relationship, I ended up getting my own crib, but at this time I was staying in like the housing that they provide for us at the job, for contractors and, military that stay on base, all that stuff. So anyways, she was like, oh, I got my own spot. It's kind of a distance though, if you don't mind, walking or taking a cab. I said, man, girl, man, we was playing, because the place had a pool table, and as she was saying this, we was finishing up our pool game, and I looked down, I seen that rump roast. I said, girl, I will walk to that motherfucker. I'll walk to that motherfucker if I got to. So, anyways, man, we end up heading back to her crib, and bro, let's just say, at this point, I have been dating nothing but Japanese girls. Cause like I said, if I mentioned in one of my prior videos, there were more American men than there were American women. So that falls under the Latina category. That falls under the white category. That falls under the Asian American category. I'm talking about when dealing with non-Japanese nationals and stuff like that. There was way more men than there were women. So, you know, the women had way more to choose from. So a lot of guys got overlooked, man. You had to literally man, it was survival of the fittest. You literally had to be on point, bro. You had to have your body together. You had to have your looks together. You had to be clean and everything, because women had they pick, man. It was probably, let's just say there was 300 men to 100 women. You see what I'm saying? So it was no games out there. Like, if you, man, it was hunting season, bro. And if you wasn't equipped, then you was gonna get overlooked, bro. And like I said, there was nothing wrong with the Japanese woman, but I'm just more accustomed to having curves, dog. Like, and granted, if it seemed like if you found a Japanese woman who had the complete package, she had done been, let's just say, ran through by a bunch of black American men, bro. Like, cause that's what we look for. If we gonna date outside our race, we still typically look for bodies and curves and lips and looks. So if she dates, as I mentioned before, if a Japanese woman dated black men, she never really had a type. She would just date any black man. You see what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, you know, she had way more to choose from than we did. So now that I found me a black woman, I'm like, shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, let's see how this thing go. And bro, when I tell you, she did things to my body, man, that I ain't had ever done, bro. Like, she really did some shit you would see on a movie, bro. She was dripping hot wax on me. You know how it hit your skin and you just like, you know what I'm saying? It make your body tense up and tingle and shit. She was dripping hot wax on me, man. And then it didn't, you know, it didn't help. Like, man, she had that bunda bouncing around everywhere, you know, with the flat stomach, man. It was just an outstanding experience after just been dealing with nothing but Japanese girls for that long time. And I can say, once I went black, I never went back, dog. Like, if I could choose a black woman over a Japanese woman at this time, nigga, that's what I was doing. I wasn't, nah. It was fun, because think about it, bro. I was fetishizing them. I just wanted, like, it was, you know, I had watched Tokyo Drift and seeing how they was treating Bow Wow and stuff. And then when I, you know, once after I got over that little, oh man, Japanese girl. You know, once I got over that, it was kind of like, all right, bro, I know what home is. You feel me? So, granted, man, we kicking it, bro. We kicking it, man, for about a month or so. And she's like, you know, she was a big drinker, bro. She put me on sangria, bro. I used to keep a jug of sangria at the crib, bro, and just drink on that shit all day, because it give you like a smooth buzz. You see what I'm saying? So she put me on them, and in Japan, they got these little drinks called, I think they call haichus or something. They like these little fruity drinks, and they vary in alcohol. And you know, the grape ones had the highest alcohol content. And you know I'm a nigga, so I was on them grape ones. And we would just, you know, we would lay up. She could cook, so I would come over after work. She would cook. She would massage my back. She would, you know, liquor me up, and then, you know, then we're getting the huckabuck. You see what I'm saying? So it was just a good vibe every time. You know, I love the way you get. What Travis Scott say? I get them goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. Yeah, bro. It was just a good vibe and shit. So about a month into us kicking it and stuff like that, she gets drunk, and then she started, you know, just venting to me and shit. And then she was like, I got something to tell you. And I was like, yeah, what's up? She was like, I'm married. I heard the Kenan and Kel music come on. It was like, don't. I was like, what the fuck? I said, and then in my head, I was wondering how you got, because she was a personnel specialist. So a lot of personnel specialists I knew was hooking themselves up with extra money so they can get a crib, because Japan ain't cheap, bro. Like I mentioned before, Japan currency, the yen fluctuates between being above the dollar and being below the dollar. So it wasn't cheap. So I just thought she finessed her way into getting a crib, and I ain't asked no questions, right? So And I'm like, damn, the dude was never around. So I'm like, is she married to a dude who live in the States or whatever? So I'm like, so you married? She was like, yeah, I've been married since we met back in 2012. I said, oh my God. And I was like, you ain't got no kids? She was like, nah, I never had no kids. I'm like, are you married for the money? Because a lot of military people get married for the bread. So I'm like, are you married for the bread? Or she was like, nah, we was actually together. He just went home. We just separated. And I'm like, oh, so y'all separated? She was like, yeah, we haven't filed the paperwork yet because he won't sign it. But yeah, I've been trying. I had to kick him out. He was putting his hands on me. I got tired of taking care of him because, you know, all he do is sit around and drink all day. And I could believe the drinking part because she drink a lot. So I'm like, damn. Okay, so he was putting his hands on you and stuff like that. But, you know, one thing I learned is I always would like to get the man's side of the story because I know women lie, bro. Women will lie to get your sympathy. Women will lie to get you in an emotional state. Women will lie and take advantage of you, and they'll cry. They'll do all this stuff and be lying. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn. Because adultery is a career killer, dog. You can get, man, all it took was this man to write a letter to my place of work and get me sent back home or get me hemmed up, bro. So I'm paranoid. I'm like, bro, are you sure y'all not together? And she was like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, damn. So I'm like, you know, I took her word for it as far as they not being together, but I still was on my P's and Q's. Like, I was like, hey, you know, if we gonna do this, man, we gonna have to be careful. Like, I ain't trying to end up in no drama, bro. Like, you know, where I was working at, this is a small location, so it wasn't too many niggas, bro. You see what I'm saying? Especially if the carriers wasn't in. Like, it wasn't too many niggas, so I was easy to be found, bro. It's not hard. And so she's like, okay, yeah. She was like, I really like it, and I just wanted to be honest with y'all. Like, damn, man, you should have been honest with me after I hit the first time. That way, at least I could have just, you know, I could have slid on. Because now I'm liking her, too. Like I told you, it ain't too many attractive black women on base like that. And then, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I finally had me one, and she didn't. I didn't like messing, even if I was going to mess with a Japanese chick, I didn't like messing with the ones who stayed close to where I work at. Because, like I said, you're gonna know 2, 3, 4 niggas that they done been with. So I like to get all my women from Tokyo, man. I didn't like messing with, and then, you know, Tokyo was a far ass trip. I wanted to have somebody to where, you know, I could be around them without having to go out of my way and be around them on a daily basis. Like, I like comfortability over, you know, having 100 different chicks. So she stayed right around the corner from me. We worked in the same place. I knew her. You know what I'm saying? It was just so much more convenient than dealing with a Japanese chick. And she spoke English, and she had shit in common with me because she was a black woman. And let's just say she was from one of them black cities to where they built like a stallion. You see what I'm saying? So she was on point, and she had a career. She had her own money. She never asked me for shit. You know what I'm saying? Back then, before I started living overseas on my own accord, I only dealt with women who had their own shit because I just never was the type of dude to take care of no woman financially. I just always messed with women who had their own. So she had her own. I ain't never had to pay for nothing. She always took me out and stuff like this. So that was just how I was. So, you know, because that's how I seen my pops do. Like, I ain't never seen my pops mess with no woman who ain't had no money. So I just follow in his footsteps. And some time go by, we still kicking it, we still doing our thing. I'm just being a lot more cautious because, you know, like I said, bro, she stayed around the corner, so I could stay the night at her crib and just wake up and go to work, get me some breakfast cooked, boom, boom, boom. And at this time, bro, like I said, Japan got mad. It would get not boring, but you know, man, you get over the novelty of it. It's just now it's just a place where you live. And most of the people don't speak your language. Most of the people don't eat like you. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You have to have that American camaraderie every now and again, bro. You're gonna go crazy. So in the midst of all this, man, I'm trying to figure out, you know, I'm kicking it at her crib. I'm staying the night, you know, I'm waking up and going to work from there. And a lot of kill time, bro. I was doing 2-a-days, and 2-a-days are when I was going to the gym twice a day. I would go to the gym early in the morning, and I would go to the gym at night. So I was solid, nigga. I was solid. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I was eating like 6 times a day. I would eat 3 meals because my job provided food. And then on top of that, she would make me like meal prep me like chicken and rice. And I would eat that in between. So, bro, I mean, I'm solid, bro. Like, all I did was work out, fuck, drink, and work out. You see what I'm saying? So I was pretty solid. I was in my prime, early 20s. You feel me? Or late teens, early 20s, whatever. So one day I'm at work and I used to use Facebook, and my Facebook Messenger said I had a message request. And I'm like, because I put my shit on private, so not just anybody can message me, because, you get a lot of that spam shit. And so this specific time, bro, I get a message request from somebody I didn't know. And it was like, hey, bro, I heard you been fucking my wife. I said, oh my God. I said, bro, who your wife? I don't know what you're talking about. Because, I was dealing with her for the most part, but I'm pretty sure in between there, I was probably dealing with some other women too. So I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. Who your wife, bro? He was like, man, don't fucking play dumb with me. You know who the hell I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. And then he says her name. And I only knew her by her last name. I knew her first name, but I only knew her by her last name, really, to be completely honest with you. I knew her first name, but most people didn't call her that. So he like, man, yeah, she told me that y'all been doing this for a couple months now, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, yeah, I know who you talking about, bro. I was like, but she told me she was divorced. No, she told me y'all was separated and that you wasn't coming back this side and this, that, and the third. She was like, well, homie, she lied to you. I'm going to actually be there in a couple months or a month or so or some shit like that. And she just told me the other night that she was dealing with you and she want to separate with me because she want to be with you. And I'm like, bro, she told me y'all already had y'all issues and this, that, and the third, bro. But if I would have knew y'all was still together, I wouldn't have dealt with her. And she was like, nigga, I've been with this girl since we was in high school, bro. I've been with this girl such and such years and shit. Like, he said they've been together like, 10, 12 years and shit like that. I'm like, damn. He was like, man, she'll never go nowhere. She might have a little episode like this, but she ain't never going nowhere. And then he keeps trying to but I'm using the work computer. I'm not on my phone. He's trying to call me and shit. I'm like, bro, I'm at work. You ain't gonna be able to call me right now, bro. But shit, I can hit you up. Cause like I said, bro, I wasn't trying to disrespect the man, cause like she told me they were separated, so I didn't know any. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know much about marriage, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I had a rule before I started working that job that I would never deal with a married woman, because I at this point in life, I still had planned on getting married, and I didn't think that, you know what I mean? I wasn't thinking like, I was thinking in my mind, I wouldn't want somebody to do that with my wife. So, I gave him the respect of giving him a call. I was like, shit, I'll hit you up when I get on my lunch break and shit. So I get on my lunch break and I'm like, what's good? He was like, man, no, what's good, me nigga? You over there fucking my wife. And so now he's starting to get irate and shit. He's starting to curse me out. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna sit here and be disrespected, cause like, man, I'm trying to talk to you from man to man. He's like, no, you wasn't talking to me man to man when you was over there fucking my wife, laying up in my crib, boom, 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 boom. So I'm like, all right, bro, since you ain't trying to talk to me like on no, man to man type shit, bro, I ain't gonna sit here and let you curse me. Like I said, bro, I'm solid, nigga. Like, I ain't too many. And at this point, I forgot to mention, at this point, bro, I was known. Cause in Japan, everybody got that, like I said, black guys are real territorial, bro. So majority of the time, if we work together, we stick together. And then, we had our own little cliques. And yeah, we had like little names and shit. We called ourselves the Street Kings, bro. And it was a good number of us. And we all worked together. And then they had the other groups from other, other commands and stuff like that. And we just, granted, we all black. So if it was like, because there was one time, there was a big race war, bro. In Japan, it was Dominicans. Drop in the comments if you made it this far and you want to hear about the race war against Dominicans against black. And if you know anything about my background, bro, my pop's from the islands. So it was a big race war, and it was Dominicans against black, because right next to the black club in Tokyo was a Hispanic club, and they played a lot of bachata and shit like that. So yeah, drop in the comments if you want to hear about that, if you made it this far. I know this story kind of long, but anyways, so yeah, when it came to that, man, bro, I was known, bro. I was a knock you out, ask question later type of guy at this time, especially because I was still young. Like I had been overseas, but I hadn't really lived overseas. I was like working majority of the time and stuff. So I was known for it, bro. I was like, I not punch you in your mouth and we'll talk about it later, because it was drinking involved, and it was just partying and women and homies and just respect involved. So I wasn't about to let this man sit here and talk to me like I was his son or some shit, or son me or whatever. So I was like, I just hung up on him, and I hear her up. I was like, Shawty, let's just call her Lauren. Let's just call her Lauren. I'm like, Shawty, you told your old man this, that, and the third. She was like, yeah, I really like you, and I want to be with you. So I called him, and I was drinking, and I told him I found somebody that I like. And I'm like, but then what the fuck you giving my information for so he could find me? I'm like, bro, you know he could hit up my job and get me fired and ruin my career. But you know I got responsibilities back home. What you doing, shawty? And you told me y'all was separated. And he was like, we are separated. He just won't sign the paperwork. I thought if I told him that I was dealing with somebody, he would want to sign the paperwork. I'm like, shawty, you need to handle that, man. And until you handle that, because this man threatened me now. And so I'm like, until you handle that, man, I ain't gonna be able to deal with you. And I knew if I told her that, she was gonna make sure it got done. So this nigga was like, you know, he was like, man, I'm coming back out. And what he told me, he was like, he coming back out to Japan. And when he see me, it's on site. So like he got all my pictures. He got my my Facebook was private, but you know, he had my pictures and stuff like that. So I'm like, what if this dude see me before I see him? So I need to go check and see what he looked like. So I go on his page. His page is private also. So he only had like 3 visible pictures, and he looked like a wild dude. You know, he had super long hair. He was a mixed guy. He was like black and something else. He didn't look like no small dude, but like I said, I wasn't no small dude either. So I just wanted to know what he looked like. So if we ever cross paths, I had to get him before he get me. Like I told you, that was my mindset. I'm gonna get you before you get me. So all this time goes past, and hey man, if y'all haven't hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Let's get back into it. So I'm like, man, I gotta see him before he see me. And then, like, you know, I be walking around, I be exploring and shit. So, you know, I mean, he'll probably catch me. You see what I'm saying? He not working. Like I told you earlier, she take care of him. So he not working and stuff like that. He may just catch me when I'm out trying to get parts or something and box me up real quick, and I wouldn't even know it. So all this has passed, man. I stopped dealing with her. I told her, just make sure you take care of your stuff because I ain't about to be, you know. And then I told my boys about it too. So I was like, hey man, you see this dude, you know, he talking that shit. And you know, like me and my dog, we rode together. Like my pops always told me, if you ride together, you fight together. Like you shouldn't be hanging with him if you ain't gonna fight with him. So my dogs was on point. They looking for him. They like, man, shit, you know, hey, you ain't even gotta worry about it. We see him, we gonna get him. I just wanted them to let me know. I ain't telling them to take care of my business for me. I'm just like, hey, let me know if you see him, so that way I don't get caught slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know. And then I felt like I was old one because I was always the one. I was always punching people. Just, you know, I was doing that. So I was like, it would be my karma that he caught me and just you know, clean my clock. Because it has happened before. I got into a fight in Key West, Florida, bro, and put in the comments if you want to hear about it. Let's just leave it at that because this video already getting too long. So anyways, so one day, right, this is after a while, after everything that happened, I'm walking off base. And mind you, I told you I studied this man's pictures. And like I said, I'm training all day, every day. Like, bro, I'm going to the gym twice a day. I'm solid, bro. I'm not worried about nothing. So I'm walking off base one day, or I'm walking off the work site one day, bro. I'm walking, and out the corner of my eye, guess who I spied? And this day, Japan, I don't know if y'all know it, but Japan gets super hot. I'm talking about, you wouldn't imagine it get this damn hot, but it gets really hot. And I was hot. I just had a long day at work. I'm sweating. I'm just ready to get to the crib. And he's coming in because you got to go through security check. He's coming in. I'm going out. So I'm always, me and my homies, we call it 2020. Like whenever we was at the club or whenever we was out somewhere and we was telling we saw one of the ops. You know, I know, right? The ops, right? So we saw one of the ops. We be like, hey, 2020. That means watch your surroundings. And I was always on 2020, especially when I just had somebody threaten me. This man's walking in. He just did security check. I'm walking out, and like I put my chest out. I'm like, look, I'll be damned if you walk past me and sneak me, because he saw me, I saw him, and I gave him that look like, what's all that shit you been talking? Man, when I tell you, this man looked at me, started smiling, and turned the other cheek, and walked past me like he ain't been talking all this greasy ass shit. And mind you now, at this point, I had already, like I told you, I was known for fighting in Japan. I had already I've been a little too loose. So I got my career on my mind at this point. I'm like, you know how you, after you done already got in trouble, you start thinking like, okay, maybe I really do like what I got going on. Let me be a little bit more cautious. I was like, if he say or he moved the wrong way, I'm going to power drive his ass into hell. And then he smiled at me, turned the other cheek, and just kept on. And like I said, he was about my size. I was more so solid from working out. He was just a bigger dude. But I could see it in his face. He did not want that smoke. He see it on my face. I was sweating. I was hot. He seen it. And you know, nigga, I was big in that uniform, nigga. And he did not want that smoke. He called me all type of bitches and pussies and how he was going to just see me and knock me out and all this stuff. And, man, he was silent as a mouse. What's that Christmas story? Nothing was stirring. Not even a mouse. And, nigga, man, was to walk past me, and I must have looked at him. And you know how when he walked past me, you know, I'm like this the whole way by. He knew who I was. We knew. You see what I'm saying? When he got past me, I did one more look back to make sure he wasn't going to try to sneak me or something, and he didn't even turn around, dog. I was like, man, ain't that some shit? Never heard from him again, bro, until I think I left Japan. He followed me under a fake account and started posting like weird shit on I added the account, and he started posting some weird shit on my Facebook, and then finally I found out it was him, and I was like, man, it wasn't even worth my time. I just blocked him. It wasn't even worth my time. I was like, bro, because you had the opportunity to talk all that, you do all that shit you was talking when you was talking all that gangster shit. And, man, so, sorry, y'all, man. Long story short, man, vet these women when you dealing with these women in these overseas countries, because they be married, they be having all this crazy stuff going on, and you don't want to ruin your opportunity of being happy, man. If y'all enjoyed that story, give it a thumbs up. If you did, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't, subscribe to the channel because it helps me out. It get cold in these streets. Bundle up.